Hello, hello. What
Hey
is
man.
up?
Hello.
Hi, hi. Yo. What up, William?
Hey, how are you?
I'm good, man. Congrats
Good.
on the deal.
Thank you, man. I used your script for it.
Let's go.
Yes, but now some people were in the Clay Lawrence chat, but it's ending up like my solution for the phone numbers is not working. So I basically have to to do ATP verification again, but they don't do it in Canada, so it's very complicated. So I just need like a phone number that can work and everything is good. So
You got
it's
it.
not too bad. I
You're
would get it.
yeah. You're in Quebec, yeah?
Yeah,
Heck yeah. I went to a music
that's
festival there once. Oshega.
oh okay. That's Osheaga. Funny thing is, was the because Montreal's an island, as you've seen, and that was the name of the island before the Europeans came in.
Ah,
Yeah, so that's a pretty cool little fact if you care of it. So that's
I,
pretty
I
cool.
love fun facts. We love fun facts.
And you're in California?
Reno, Nevada, so right next to California.
Uh, I was in Lake Tahoe last year. It's very cool.
I'm right there. Yep, yep. Well, heck yeah, I'm glad you're on here, guys. Thanks all for joining. Harry, nice to meet you. Blake, always good seeing you per usual. You're crushing. Marin, always good to see you as well. Albert, it's been a minute. Good to
Hey
see you.
man, good to see you too.
How's Colombia?
Good, good. Everything, weather's nice.
Let's go. Are you still mainly doing the loyalty program?
Yeah, I'm still doing it. Yeah, but I had to take off like probably like 2 months. That's why I haven't gotten until I got in the calls, but I'm back now. Yeah,
Yeah, good to see you. Good to see you.
good to see you
What
too,
up,
man.
Daniel?
What's up, man?
Yeah, you said you've been calling for a bit, right?
Yeah, for about a year. Yeah.
Nice. And what do you sell?
Go high level SaaS. Yeah.
Perfect. You're in the spot. We need more people like that in here. Are you mainly doing your reviews? Are you doing chatbots or
Yeah, well, I do I chatbots and then workflows, so it's a mix. But mainly like follow up for service-based businesses, yeah.
cool? Heck yeah. Yeah, you've been doing it, you said for about 9 months. I actually wanted to, I'll free flow for a little bit and then kind of open it up for discussion, but I wanted to chat quickly on just staying consistent. I mean, so Sam and I started this, we found the idea in January and now we're at a point, we started outreach in March and we've been cold calling every day for Monday through Friday since March, right? And when I used to do door-to-door sales, hi Kathy. Hi. It was there was always a point in the year, and it was usually about now, where you start to get a little tired in terms of reaching out to people and doing that, and maybe you're brand new and you're started and you got this gusto and excitement into it. But I just wanted to chat shortly on the seasons and the cycles of outreach and how we can better prepare ourselves for times where you're just like, man, I gotta do this again today, because it takes time. Yeah, you just gotta put the reps in every single day. The consistency is everything. So, in door to door, usually around August, I'd be like, okay, I want to go home. But now it's a year-round business, so I wanted to open up and see if you guys, just how you guys go about, you know, pushing yourself and staying consistent in those times, and I can kind of share what has worked for me. If you guys have any open dialogue with that, I'd love to hear it.
My motivation is I want to um I would like to have a baby and I would like to hopefully get pregnant by the end of the year or early next year. The only way that me and my husband can make that happen is if one of us makes a lot more money. And I'm probably the one in the position that can make that happen. And so every day when I don't when I want to dawdle or whatever, I'm like, no, I've got to do this because yeah, that's my goal.
Oh, I love that. I think that, and Blake is probably, one of the most consistent people that at least I see. Obviously, people are cold calling and maybe don't post it, but Blake's very consistent, and that doesn't surprise me if the reason being is that literally to bring another being into this world and like the emotional connection that we tie to the inputs of our calls, I think is everything. What's up, Ray? The hardest part that I've seen in training door-to-door reps and over the years, or just sales reps, is like if there's not a really deep emotional attachment to the end result of the inputs that you're putting in on a daily basis, like you're just not going to do it. You're going to quit, right? And for a lot of people, that's family. That's this idea of building a better life for themselves, for other people in their life. Some people, there's actually one. This is some good info that I found from the God King Ty Lopez, if you guys know who that is. But basically, there's most people are motivated by four different things. In fact, all of us are, but understanding which one is most important to you is really helpful in terms of staying consistent with something. So it's the four M's of motivation. So there's money, which you can actually think of more of like physical things. So some people are really motivated by buying a Lamborghini, having that big house on the hill, material things. So you could think of money as material things, and there's nothing wrong with that. If that's what's mainly your motivation, then put pictures of Lambos or whatever your dream car is next to the dialer, next to your computer, right, to keep that going. Movement is the second M. So movement is travel, being able to jump around the world whenever you want. And the beauty of the business model that we're all in is we are building that location freedom. And that's a really big one for me, is this ability to go wherever I want, whenever I want to. And the other one is mating. So mating could be seen as not just like dating and like women or men, but love, like a baby, like really the emotional connections that motivate us in life. Um, and the other one is mastery. Mastery, some people are like, I want to be the best cold caller. I want to prove to everybody that I am the big dog. So you kind of think of this like ego motivation and status, like wanting to be the guy that the other girl that's like super regarded. And all of them are valid, but understanding which ones are really important to you, because we all have some level of each, and then tying that to the action of cold calling every single day, if that's the path you're going down to get clients, I think is really important. So, is there any other who's money motivated? Who likes things? Yeah, heck yeah, William. Let's go. Yeah, Ray. Awesome. Mating. So like dating, family. Um, yeah, okay, that's my main one. Um, movement. Anyone really want to travel? Heck yeah. Heck yeah. And then mastery. Who wants to be top dog? Yeah, okay, Harry. So you're kind of those two. William. Heck yeah. See, that's really important, because like I'm finding myself now, March to September. We had a great week last week. We got 6 onboardings between Sam and I, and we're like, yeah, let's go. And then I go and visit my buddy in San Francisco for the weekend, have some fun, come back. I'm like, oh, I got to do it again and again and again. But the beauty of this business model is it compounds, and that work we put in at least will continue to come in if we're doing other things right. William, what you got? And yeah, you feel free to raise your hand if you guys want to throughout here.
Yeah, so I got something that's pretty useful to me, and I think this could be useful to you as well. If you've read, there's a book called the 4 Hour Work Week. That's very difficult for me to say, but they talk about this. It's called the Vivid Vision, and you basically write a vision uh, that you can work over time. And I basically do this exercise maybe once a year or 2 years, and I write by category what my life looks like at the present, but so it's in the future. For me, basically, I would like to make $20,000 a month online in 2 years. In 3 years, sorry. But I do look at it like maybe once a week or so. The complete vision written. It's like 7 pages of me just talking to the present of what my life looks like. And it's a book by Cameron Arrow, Vivid Vision. So that's pretty cool. It was helpful to me at least, so that might be helpful to you as well.
Heck yeah, I appreciate you sharing that. I think I've heard this before, is like tying a future outcome and the emotions that you feel in that future state, and then like saying things of like, oh, like I have those things now, I think is really important. I also think you need to back that with action. Like I'm really big into manifestation if it's also like I'm doing the things every day that are going to lead me there. But that's a really great resource. I appreciate you sharing that. Um, you know, what up, Mitch? McGregor, good to see you as well.
Hi, mate.
Hey, how you doing?
Good, thanks. Good. Just at work at the moment, so I'm going to keep it on the DL.
Okay. Yeah. Love it, love it. Um, Harry, you've been in the review side of the business for longer than most people. Is that correct?
About 4 years, more or less, and
Yeah.
on and off, not steadily for 4 years. I went full time on reviews starting the first of this year, but I started in late 2021, and I've used different platforms. I've used Bird Eye, and I've used some platforms that don't even exist anymore, and some do-it-yourself attempts, early attempts at using high level myself, and couldn't do it. But I've been at it a long time, so I'm probably in a different place than you guys are, because I'm forming. The best way I can say it is I'm molding the business that I started in January to the way I want to work, and I'm not particularly motivated by money, but I got the same needs that everybody else does, and maybe more. I'm pretty ambitious. But my goal is very simple. I want to build a business of 300 to 400 minimum $100 a month subscription review clients, and then I want to sell that. And I think I can do that in 2.5 to 3 years. How am I basing that? I'm basing it on what you guys are doing. Like, I look at Frankie, I look at you, Blake, I watch you. You guys are building at that rate. And I've already sold them before. Frankly, I think this is the easiest sale of anything that I've ever made in my life. And I've been in sales and marketing for 50 years. So I've sold some really tough stuff. I've had an agency before, and I did agency work off and on for the last 5 years. So I'm real clear what I want to do. I'm clear the way I want to do it. It's got to be fun, and I'm clear what my outcome is going to be. The only thing I can offer here that might be of use to anybody is, for the first time, and this is my 5th business, for the first time, I'm looking at the exit first and working backwards from the exit to plan what I do today. And that has been life altering for me, because it makes it so easy to stay focused and on track, because we are just drowning, all of us who are in this, in opportunities, one thing after another after another. I mean, if all we did was read the latest bulletins from high level, there's yet another opportunity. So it's real easy now, because I'm real clear how I'm going to exit and what I'm going to do. And I'm very confident I can do that, because I've done it before. I've done all the parts. So now it's like, okay, well, that sounds like a good opportunity. Yeah, I know I can make more money if I upsell this guy to that and do this. But does it get me where I want to go faster, or does it accomplish my interim goals of X number of clients a week and a month? If it doesn't, I don't do it. So the decisions get made really quick. I don't have to wallow in false starts and forks in the road that I really shouldn't have taken. So I'm tickled pink to be in that place, but most of that is coming from having fucked up a lot of times in other businesses. And you know what? You cannot pay me to intentionally make the same mistake again.
Yeah, and I think what I took from that too is starting with the end in mind and how we go about with our decision making, I think is so crucial. And Sam and I go back and forth of this concept of like, now like wanting to do upsells to lead gen, right? Because you can it's
It's right
closer to
there.
money. Yeah. And obviously it's all dependent on our goals and what we want to do. I don't think there's any right answer, but if we're looking for a sellout, I would be curious have you done lead gen or sold those type of agency services of like higher ticket, more effort-based agency services?
I had an agency pre-internet in Washington, D.C. So I've done a lot of, I would describe it as custom work. In other words, each client is different, his needs are different. So we had to tailor what we did to each client. And I don't like custom work because you can't leverage it. You're having to reinvent something every time. And so when you're doing custom work, you have to go and get another client, which is easy enough to do, but then you got to reinvent something new for him. It's not as easy to repeat.
True.
And the other thing is that I did the math, and if you take a spreadsheet and just lay it out and just say that every review client you're going to get is going to be $100 a month, just lay that out, put it in a spreadsheet, look at how that money, how that revenue accumulates over, say, 24 months, because you got a base of 0, right? In the first month you get 10 clients, and the next month you get 10 clients. Now you got 20, and so on and so forth. But don't just look at that $100 a month per client and the total in the far right-hand corner. The thing that most guys aren't thinking about at all is that and I can back this up, and anybody that wants to pick my brain about it and contact the people that I've talked to, I'm willing to share any of this. The value of that business, let's say that I've forgotten the math, but let's say that 300 clients is a 500,000, $500,000 a year business. Just, I'm pulling numbers out of the air. It doesn't matter whether they're right or wrong. You can sell that business looking like what we're talking about here, Frankie, right? That does not depend on me, because there's the base of clients is there already. And it's not dependent on me to grow it, because I will have processes in place to create the leads and especially to fulfill them, which is what I'm working on now. You can sell that for 3 to 5 times revenues. So 5 times $500,000 is $2.5 million. You're going to give your broker 15% of that. You're going to have some other expenses as well. But it's 5 times revenues, not profits. Now, the profits are great. Our margins are wonderful. But when you look at the fact that 300 is a number that can be reached by any of us here, everyone on this call can create. Frankie, how many do you and Sam have now?
We're a little over 60.
Maren, how many do you have right now?
I have 18.
When did you start?
Like actually going at it, like right after I graduated, so.
Yeah, but you were working on it. Maren and I started talking about this stuff. I don't even remember how we met in November last year. So in less than a year, she's got 18. But everybody knows we're going to get referrals from those 18, and it gets easier, and it gets faster, and it gets more efficient. So it's not going to be a steady line like you put on a spreadsheet. But the point is, $2.5 million. Even if you just keep 2 million of that, put that in your pocket, put it in and invest it really, really soundly. You are not going to have to work ever again in your life. You want to work. I know probably everybody here is wired up to keep working. And I think all of us, including me until now, have been wired up to say, oh, I'll just build it and build it and build it till I'm about to die, or I can't stand it anymore, or somebody comes along and I'll just sell it at that point. Don't do that. I mean, you can do that if you want. Do anything you want. But what I'm saying is, let me put that $2 million in the bank. Now I don't have to worry about money anymore. Now I have more freedom of choice. And if I want to go build another business or two, just doing reviews for clients, say I want to go into HVAC as one niche and tree care is another, I could probably start 2 of those businesses at one time, because I'll have everything in place, tools and processes and staff to do it again. But when you've got that money and it's in your pocket, your life has changed forever. If you keep it, don't be a football player and spend it all on a Lambo. You know, so it's a different way of thinking. And I say that it makes me personally better and more effective now, today, day to day, when I figure out what I'm going to do and what my motivation is to get up and not be bored today. That keeps me in action more than anything else. So as you can tell, I'm kind of a religious convert about this. Ask me in 2 years if I did it.
No, I think that leading with that mentality is the beauty of this business model. All low ticket reoccurring services that we can offer through Go High Level that are sticky like this, websites, um, that loyalty program thing too, Albert, like these things, if we can build a client base that is spread off across so many different customers, it's so valuable to somebody that wants to buy that business. Like
Absolutely.
it's so valuable. And the if we can just have the patience to consistently do that. And that's what Clay's doing, right? He's got the I mean eventually, and you talked about the compounding effect of what we're doing, and I think cold calling is a great place to start if we don't have the resources to dump into ads. But eventually you could take that monthly recurring that's going to come in, pump that into ads, lose you might break even or even lose money on the front end, but guess what? That the lifetime value of that customer over time is going to more than pay for it, and then add to the value of the company if we're looking for an
Yeah,
exit.
you're
So,
just basically you develop a process for buying new customers. If I could spend $100, $200, maybe even 300 or 400, Ryan Dice has a great saying: "He who's willing to pay the most to buy a customer wins."
mhm.
So if I could pay $1,000 to get a new customer, if I was willing to eat that much money to get a new client, which is I'm going to get back in the first year, I'm not going to have any problems. That opens up so many ways to do prospecting and advertising and promotion, but you don't have to spend that much today to get a new client. I don't know what it's going to be because I don't have that part of the machine in place. But Frankie, you're dead on. I mean, once you got the money, you create a machine where you just put money in on a predictable basis, and qualified prospects, if not clients, come out of the other end. And I don't think anybody, Frankie, you know anybody in the Clay universe or in your groups that has a good non-cold calling lead prospecting process for this yet?
So what's the ads guy name? LeBron or
Yeah, the guy on Tuesday. Yeah, I guess he's doing it. Right.
yeah, he's doing it. I did run into a guy that is in the UK that's just doing Facebook ads, and his experience is Facebook ads, right? So I think the reason why I preach the cold calling so much is just like for the newbie, somebody that's coming in that hasn't done these things before and doesn't have the resources,
Yeah.
like it's a path to to freedom, to the life that like we all want. And yes, I'd love to be able to dump 10 G's a month into acquiring clients and not need to worry about that. And that day will come. But
But you
yeah,
know what? Your experience, you and Sam's experience, and all of our collective experience in cold calling is the information that's needed to construct any other kind of prospecting process, because we know what the hot buttons are. We know what the offer needs to be. We know what the objections are going to be. And we can craft our messages and our funnels and our promotions with those things in mind based on experience. Most people diving into advertising are diving in blind. They're just saying, buy my shit. And they don't have a clue how to dangle something in front of people that'll cause them to click. So if you know how to do that from cold calling, then you'll know how to complete that's just the top of the funnel from the standpoint of generating a prospect. But once we start that, once we put that client or prospect, I call him suspect, into the funnel, we have to develop all those other stages of the sale, regardless of how we get that prospect. And once we know what those things are, then we just swap out a new way of prospecting, one that we can now afford because we cold called our way into enough revenue for that. And we're in place to do that. So our advertising and whatever form of other forms of promotion will do are much more likely to succeed. I mean, I know if you watch Clay's sales videos, I just laugh when I look at him. That guy does not close. He doesn't even ask them if they want it. He just says, well, do you have a list? And yeah, how many you got? Well, 1,500. Let me see your software. Open up Jobber. And he starts grabbing the list and starting the fulfillment of the new client that who hasn't even said yes yet. And they do it. It's the most unsporting sales call I've ever seen in my life. The guys don't have a prayer. They don't have a chance Clay's not giving them a chance to say no. But you know what? We learn this stuff, right? That's why I say this is the easiest sale to make. And my offer is, look, if I could get you, if I can, maybe I gotta qualify it by saying got to be a prospect who already wants reviews. I'm not going to try to convince anybody. I don't
Right.
make pitches.
Yep.
So if the guy already appreciates the value of these things and he wants more, and you can usually tell a guy that wants more because it's usually a guy that's getting a lot of reviews. So a guy that's getting reviews wants more and loves them, and that's why he's getting so many. So he wants, he wants them, he wants more for other reasons, not just money. But if I've got a qualified guy like that, and I say, look, I can get you more reviews, but don't take my word for it. You got a list of 25 to 50 or 100 people? Yeah. Give it to me right now, and I'll get you. Let's say it's noon. I'll get you more reviews before you go to bed tonight. Now, if I do that, would you be willing to consider working with me for $99 a month from now until the end of your life? That's it. That's my pitch, and it's even on the back of my business card. That's in one sentence. But I can do that because now I've done it before. I've had to go through all the steps, and I know what to say. And that's kind of how I would craft an offer if I was advertising. So it's the cold calling thing is a just perfect way to start because we can do it.
Yep.
And
Yep. It's free. It's free. It just requires effort and a little bit of courage. And then you acquire that data. And then down the road, when you start doing ads or whatever it is, like you have all this information. So I agree 100%.
Yeah.
Kathy, what you got?
Harry made me trigger this question I have for you, Frank, because once on one of the outreach calls, you mentioned something like you've been doing this for some time and you discovered the actual pain points and the reasons why it's important for the clients to actually have reviews. There are reasons that they want this that you didn't even thought of before. Like, I'm curious, what are those reasons? What are those pain points? Why do they want this? Those that happen.
Yeah, a couple that I didn't think of is like one, being able to charge more for their services because they have more belief in the quality of their work by hearing that from more people. So one client is a concrete company. Actually, he's became a friend. He's like local here and we chat often. But he was like, yeah, after like getting this boost of reviews, I like was able to more confidently charge for my services. And I think that was a really big one that I hadn't really considered when thinking about it. What are some other that's not I guess that's more of a benefit, but a pain point. Yeah, insecurity in their work and not getting enough feedback from the people that love them. They just don't know. So that was one thing. What are some other ones? I think a pain point is just they don't want to ask or they feel awkward to, right? So that's pretty common one of like, yeah, like I kind of ask, I kind of don't. Obviously, time, saving them time, like they just have so many things going on, which is also the beauty for whatever, if you're selling websites or whatever you are with JHL, the beauty of the industries that we're going after of small business owners is, they're so busy that like anything to save time or take it off their plate is helpful and they'll stick for a while because like they have so many things going on. What are some other ones?
Hey,
I guess,
Frankie,
yeah.
Can I give
I
you
was going to
something?
say, because
Kathy.
when I was watching yourself, on these outreach calls, when you talk about the benefits, what about the idea of increasing like their rankings on Google? Have they come back saying, we're ranking higher as a result of the increase in reviews?
Yeah, so it's all, and I keep forgetting the word for this. Not if somebody tells you something and it's just like you don't have it in writing, but like it's all conjecture. But anyway, yeah, I hear from our clients that after we launch the review campaign, they do say, yeah, we're getting more calls from Google. So it does help with ranking 100%. Reviews and being able to, Google seeing that you're doing consistent work and people like that,
Yes.
they're going to show you more 100%. Yes.
Yeah, because I work in the SEO space. And then when they're saying, why do we want reviews? But I think that's such a strong kind of selling point as well to say, look, if you get more reviews, obviously you're going to increase in the rankings as well. It's a big part of it. to show up for your keywords and whatnot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not only just ranking. So I always say, like on the demo call, like reviews have a double-edged purpose of one, ranking you higher, so increasing awareness of people that see your business, and two, of also helping with conversions. And I'll say, hey,
Mm.
if one plumber has 30 reviews and one has 300, which am I going to choose, right?
Yeah, the trust signal, right? It's so much higher, so much stronger or something.
Yeah. And right when a couple, like a line that I'm now using on my cold calls is like a lot is, people do business with people they trust. And it's really hard for anyone to like argue that because it's true, right? So it's really just like we just want to get more people to trust you and in turn into more business. More business, we can request more reviews, and it's like Clay's little uh, circle that he does if you follow him. The review flywheel, if you guys have
No,
seen that.
yeah. Who is it? Sorry,
Clay Lawrence.
Clay Lawrence. Okay.
Yeah, he's
Let's search.
review daddy.
I
Yeah,
think
All right,
there's
nice.
two categories of motivations, and I group them as logical and emotional. And my experience is these guys are buying for one. I think they're always buying for an emotional reason. We may not see it, they may not know it, but in many cases you can identify what the emotional reason is. And we give you one example, and then there's the rational side, which is the SEO improvements, the ROI, the growth of your business, your reputation, all that's the rational stuff. But often the rational reasons that a client gives me are rationalizations he's using himself to satisfy an emotional need. So I'm going to give you one really funny example. I got a tree contractor in Louisville, Kentucky. He was part of a family business that I think his brother and he were running, and they took it over when their father got old. And my guy, my client, who's no longer with that company, was either forced out or left the company. And he went to work for another really well-established tree company in Louisville, and he's doing well. And I suspected that what was going on with his name is Dan. What I suspected was going on with Dan was that he really wanted to look better than his brother.
yeah.
So right now they're in a review contest. His brother's got 238. And I think as of this time yesterday, I had my client up to 230. So I just sent him a note because I got a big list of his that I'm still working. And I said, Dan, I think we're going to pass your brother by Friday. And I already know because he and I have talked about this out in the open. He's not ashamed of it at all. He says, I just want to show him. I just want to show him. That's the emotional reason. That has nothing to do with the building business, the company that he's working for. He's an employee. He's not an owner. That's why he's doing it. Other emotional reasons are like Blake wants to have a baby. That's an emotional reason. That's not a financial reason. Yes, it's financial. That's her rationalization for it. But the satisfaction she's going to get from it is that this will enable her to have a baby when she wants to. And that, if we can get to that stage in our conversations, I can't always do it, but if I can get my conversations, my back and forth with my prospect to be that authentic and that honest, and with a lot of people you can, particularly business owners, because they don't have anybody to talk to. So if I can get to that stage, that emotional reason is either going to show up, or I'm going to know, Frankie, it's like what you just said. They do business with people they want, that they like and trust. And if we get along on the phone, well, the like part's already there, right? You know how phone calls sometimes can just go on for hours. There's something there. So I think the emotional thing is not to be frowned at if you're in a conversation with someone. It's hard to turn that into advertising though, or promotions or email or whatever.
Because it's so personal.
It is, and it's going to be individual, and probably all over the board, right?
100%. I mean, the way that like Sam and I, all of our clients, we say this a lot, are all people that we just get along with. And I think cold calling is this, the way that I'm uh, like teach it, and what I believe is that if you can make it so conversational that it just feels like they're talking to like a friend. And that's why like on a tactical level, questions that I ask on the call are like, like what made you start your business?
That's
Like,
exactly.
what
Exactly.
made you get it? Do you like being a
Right.
business owner? Because questions like that, now I start to segue into a more emotional conversation
Exactly.
that I can then one, make that connection with them, and two, like people will open up and be like, like my dad, he's sick and he wants to retire, and I want to sell this business in a couple years, and like when I have information like that, it only helps me tie my service to how it's going to help them more as well, and
And
also,
that's what we're delivering. We're
yeah,
delivering the ability for him to sell his business in 2 years. That's what they're buying from us. And if we keep that in focus, they're not buying. This goes all the way back to people that are trying to sell just SaaS, just sell high level subscriptions. Nobody's going to buy. Nobody wants to buy a tool. Who wants to buy a tool unless you need that wrench, right? People want the result, and you just hit on the result. Well, that's what we're selling the guy, and he'll keep us around if we show him that we're getting him to that place.
if
So,
if we're
and
tying
obviously he's getting that in his first conversations with a guy he likes to talk to and get along with. So it's like a perfect process that way.
100%. Now we're starting to get into this problem though, and I guess it's not a problem. It's just like we've built all these connections with people. The review system's working, and I just need to organize myself better in my notes of actually customer relationship management, like so, and actually being able to reach out to like our clients and just be like, hey, how do you like service? And also asking for referrals and keeping that connection going, not just like expecting, even though the service is working. And some it's better for other than others, right? Depending on their monthly volume. That's why my brain goes to doing lead generation because it's like, man, it'd be really great to actually help you get more business, which then ties into getting you reviews, right? But that's like a whole different ball game. But I think just for everybody here for the tactical stuff of building connections, I have a lot of people send me stuff of like, hey, how's my script? Do you like my script? And I'm like, and like really everybody that sends me scripts are following like a couple different people on YouTube. And as much as I like want to say, oh, that's good, that's bad, in sales, it's really about the connection you make with the prospect. And yes, there is, I think 20% of it is these tactical aspects of like saying these words at this time. But I think 80% of it is like the connection and being able to lead from a place of like, I'm just trying to get to know you to see if we would be a good fit to work on a personal level. And that's why it's almost difficult for me to teach a bit. Like a script's great and use a script that feels good, but then there's got to be a point where you start flowing the conversation away. Every conversation and appointment I book is different. They're all
You just defined what that script ought to be. So that script ought to be tailored to each person. But what you didn't say, but you did say was that what works for you is you ask them, why did you get into this? How did you do it? Why do you do it? What do I ask people what they like about the business. I ask them, what's the hardest thing about the business? And so on and so forth. You know how those questions are. They're open-ended and the answers just go on and on and on. Questions are the doorway into that conversation. So in my case, I'm just genuinely interested in people in business. It's a hobby for me. I didn't start out to make it a hobby, but I just love that topic. How did you do this? Particularly talking to guys that have and people who have built and sold businesses and really succeeded. How did you do that? I've never had one that wouldn't tell me. And they love talking about it and they love answering questions about it because guess what? Nobody else is asking them any questions about this stuff.
100%. Yeah.
So we come in as cold callers or having a cold conversation. We don't come off as a sales pitch script thing. We come off as somebody who's authentically, and I am, interested in what this guy's doing. And if our conversation goes well, and what you describe it, Frankie, you describe it as basically relationship building. If that little connection gets made, the first connection of our relationship, then the conversation will continue. And if the conversation continues, we're probably going to make the sale.
100%.
Because you're not going to continue it if you don't think you can do it with this guy. His business isn't right, he's not the right fit for our model, or you don't like him or whatever. You're eventually going to exit that phone call. Mm-hmm. It's the same for him. He's staying in it because he thinks maybe this guy Frankie or Harry or Kathy can help me. So that's why they stay in the conversation. So questions are the script. And you can start off with a bunch of questions. I used to have a 24-page list of questions that I asked. And that was what I needed to start with. But once you have a feel for it, You know, guy's a plumber. What do you want to know about plumbing? You know, what's interesting about his job? Every one of these guys got interesting stories to tell too. If you can get them to start telling stories about their business, you got a relationship. That's way better than a script.
100%. I see, Blake, you're saying I need to be more authentic. One point on that is every day not most days when I cold call in the beginning. Are you right, buddy? I'm watching my buddy's dog. Um, he's beautiful. He's a Great Pyrenees. But is I don't always feel like I don't always feel like super authentic. Some days I don't want to make the calls, and so I have to push through that initial feeling, and then I hit a flow state where then it's like, oh, I don't really care. I'm just looking to serve people, also trying to get business. There's this middle ground of all these different things that line up by doing it. And some days I feel authentic, some days I feel like, but also I've kind of talked about this in my videos, is like if you're not in like a high energy state, just convey that. Don't try to be all peppy if you're not peppy, and try to be like, meet yourself where you're at, and lead with that energy. Like I mean, there's like, Sam laughed at me the other day. Like he was listening to some of my calls when I came back from Burning Man, and he was like, dude, you sounded like you did not want to be there. Like I was just like, hey man, what's up? Yeah, like just super low energy and like chill. But I think I still booked like an appointment or two that day, because guess what? I'm going to match people that are in a similar state. And that's why it comes down to just doing this every day. And how I started this call is like, all that matters, 80% of success with this is just cold calling. Like doing it every day. How do I do this? How do I get good at cold? You don't got have to get good at it. You just got to do it. You just got to do it every like single day, and the result of that is that you get better. But it's just deciding. I had somebody too right before that hopped on. He's doing door-to-door sales, and he's like, "How do I make time to cold call?" And he's like, "I need some, just be honest with me." And I'm like, it's never a time thing, dude. It's just a decision that you have an outcome, like having a baby or buying a farm or whatever the thing you want is, and that decision is more important. The thing you want is more important than the temporary pain of sacrificing 2 3 hours a day to cold call people. And if you don't have that burning desire and that why yet, I really think it's tough. I really do think it's tough. And there's plenty of times, and I've started so many things throughout my journey that I didn't follow through with because I didn't really want it. Like on a subconscious level, I didn't actually want it enough. And it's not till you like either reach a point of like total despair, or like you want something enough where you're like, I'm done. I'm done, like kind of wanting it, you know? And because I mean, outreach every single day, it's a lot. It's a lot. But it's totally possible if you can tie that input of cold calling to something way really a deep emotional reason.
And when you see yourself getting clients from it too, it's so motivating. I've been in BNI for about a year now, and it's nice to randomly get clients here and there that are referrals. But now that I'm cold calling, I feel in control of my client acquisition because I actually have, I mark down, I just make a little tally on paper of how many cold calls I've made every day. And I see that, give or take, some days it's bad, some days it's better. I get about one demo call booked per, like, let's say like 50. So I feel that makes me feel in control of client acquisition as long as I'm doing it. And so that is very motivating if you're trying to grow your business.
It is. It's all in your hands. It's all you can do. You can do it. Because like text, email campaigns, all that, like sitting around. And if you're good at that and can also do those things on top of cold calling, 100%. But the ability to be in control of, that's why I love knocking doors. Is why I got into, I've been a 1099 commission rep since I've been 19. I'm 28 now. And I've only lived on commission just because it's all up to me. And I love that. Um, and I mean, I've had some jobs along the way, but that's been the most of my income. Um, okay, maybe some tactical stuff. What are some things that have been working on calls, like words and things? Maybe we could do a role play. Um, uh, Daniel, I'm gonna choose you.
What's up, man?
What's up? Um, What, so you're selling GHL as I like to talk to somebody that's different from reviews and just kind of
Yeah. So yeah, I basically just sell the calling features and the texting features, how the AI responds immediately, and then if they don't respond immediately to that, like the leads, client, stuff like that, I'm following up with the workflows.
sick. Are you doing the like receptionist for them to answer the phone?
Yeah, so I have a lot of clients right now that are specifically they have a number, and that's their like main business number, and then some that are just using it as their like second number, and then we just connected it all to the Go High Level system. So it's like a yeah, it's we're just using that and then following up from there.
Heck yeah. Is the goal to book appointments? Is it to lead nurture? Is it to schedule?
Yeah, so mainly lead nurture. We're not like focused on appointments. We do database reactivations too. So like after like 3 months, the lead goes dead. So we do get like, or I shouldn't say we do. The software gets the a couple meetings here and there um for my clients, and then like through the calls. So we send out so many texts. Like one of my clients, we did 6,000 texts in August, and he got like I don't know, a couple hundred calls from that he picked up on his business line, and then the rest just got funneled down to the AI.
Gotcha. And so the AI is taking over, like chatbot AI to for the conversations that he's missing from those initial text messages.
Yeah, so when someone calls in, um, obviously if they're busy, the AI is just going to take over from them.
Heck yeah. So what do you lead with on calls? What's the main intro thing in terms of like the offer that you're making? Is it database reactivation?
No, so it's the calls. So I lead with like, well, first of all, I say I'm not a marketer because everybody thinks we're marketers now. Um, so I really like the feature or emotion that I try to sell is like they're busy, um, they're very unorganized, and they're missing calls. Like at on jobs, if they're I work with a lot of house cleaners. If they're cleaning jobs, um, so they can't obviously answer the phone, text, in that first 5 minutes. And I really say, I mean, I'll read from my exact script. I don't know if you know this, but if you're not responding within the first 5 minutes, um, people are so impatient now that they're going to call another company. And that is, I mean, that's like the main thing that I do with the calls.
I love that. Sam and I actually for like I think 2 weeks sold some AI receptionists, and then realized we just need to focus on one thing because we have
Yeah.
limited.
It's also very sticky too, if it's,
Heck yeah, no, it's a great offer. Um, and I'm so and you know how many businesses don't answer the phone? It's crazy.
yeah.
It's so insane.
I was
Um,
thinking about doing like voicemails, like you know how in workflows they have the voicemails, just mass doing voicemails and just saying you missed a call. If you don't want to miss calls anymore, have this happen, you know?
Mhm. Yeah, we set it up actually that same guy I mentioned earlier, the concrete guy. We like beta tested it with him, and I mean, we got mixed responses, but he's like, it did save me time. Are you having them just check like the notes thing inside of the lead connector app of like to see what the call is about? I feel like there's a lot of room to be made in terms of like
Emails. So we
email.
just yeah, I mean I think it's the native feature in there. We just send them an email of the transcript, and then I tell my clients to look at the what's said on all the calls in the actual software too.
That's right. Yeah, fun idea I just had that would even help them more, probably be more work and do whatever, but is basically having an agent that then filters the transcript of those to then separate them into like different boxes of like potential clients of like scheduling. I don't know.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Spitballing.
Because they do positive and negative in Go High Level, so it'll say like positive, negative, and then obviously you can kind of infer if like you want them as a client or not. And then obviously call recording is in there too.
Yeah, that's huge. Heck yeah. I like to chat with people doing different stuff. One thing too for that service, and I think our service as well, I know we've been going back and forth that people have been on these calls for a bit of whether to say price on the phone during that cold call or not. I am more heavily taking the position of yes, and this is why. So, like you said, Daniel, of everybody lumping us into marketers, most people's experience with guys that cold call to book for like lead acquisition or whatever it is, they've had most of those services that they've been offered have been a couple $100 to thousands of dollars because of the nature of how inexpensive and affordable the service is. It almost separates us as something that one, if they can find out on the cold call that it's only 99 to 329, whatever you, however you do your pricing, you are like making the decision, first off, not that big a deal, which I think increases show rates so that they actually show up to the Zoom call because they might be expecting, oh my gosh, this might be my previous experiences have been this is thousands of dollars, right? A month or whatever. But if we can get to a point in the conversation, and now I'm trying to do this on every single call of getting them to ask me price, it's now they know the price, they know the service. I've already qualified them to make sure we can do the service, which that's actually one good thing about AI receptionists. There's less qualifications in terms of what you need, like their integration and whatnot. That's one thing I really did like about that service. Um, but we've qualified them. They have enough clients. They have an integratable CRM. They know the price. They basically say yes, and then that demo call is actually an onboarding call. You might have to check a few boxes, but I think by leading to get to price and a more powerful way, where rather than just telling it to them, is going like this: be like, yeah, and so we do a 2 week free trial. We don't do contracts, so it's just month to month. We want you to test it before any money is exchanged. And then, if you like it, our pricing is super affordable. And you just pause. And guess what do they say? Well, how much is it? And then now they're asking. We did this in door to door for pest control. Like, yeah, if you can get it done with the neighbors, we're doing Sally, James, and Joe, and we're doing it for half the cost. What's half the cost, right? By the way, Mitch, I did a door to door blitz for pest control in Sydney and Brisbane, like in 20, like right before COVID, and it was sick. But I spent some time in Sydney. You guys have some big,
Yeah,
yeah,
nice.
yeah,
That's where I'm
big
at the
bucks
moment, Sydney.
there.
So
Yeah.
how long were you there for?
I was 2 weeks in Brisbane and a week in Sydney.
Yeah, did you like it? Was it summer at the time? Was it a bit hot?
It was summer. It was hot.
Yeah.
Door to door. But people
Yeah,
are,
exactly. True. Door to door during summer, my days. Do they offer you waters?
yeah, people were super nice.
Yeah, that's good.
They were super nice. Um, but yeah, I think that's a tactical thing for you guys on the calls. Like if we're selling something that's only a couple $100, like let's experiment and let me know what you think of actually just getting to the price. Because in door to door for pest control, we made those sales on the spot. It was a couple $100 a month or 99 bucks a quarter back then. But because the decision of the amount of money isn't a lot, we shouldn't be treating it as such a big decision. And if we can get the price out and they say yes, oh, that sounds good. Like both the Sam's, two of Sam's he booked today that I listened to. He's really good about this. Told him price, told him everything. They're like, oh, that sounds cool. And then now it's just about getting them on a Zoom call, which if that's obviously difficult sometimes, but chasing down a small business owner to get them on. But now they know the price, they know everything. It's not like this big if it's going to be this big ticket item. So that's my thoughts, and I'm starting to get some good feedback and just and seeing that. But has anyone doing like saying the price on the cold call or trying that? Yeah, Blake,
I tell them almost immediately.
right off the bat.
They want to know why I'm there. I don't want I don't want to string the guy along. Here's what I do. Here's what I'm calling, but and then I say but or whatever, and then I start my pitch. But, we sell a service, 99 bucks a month. I know you can afford it. I'm calling to see if you need it. I think you do, and here's why. Boom. Now we have a conversation. Or
I know
not.
you can afford it. See if you need it. I love that. That's really good. Yeah.
Well,
There's-
I mean, I treat it like if you're sitting at a bar and somebody sat down beside you and it's 7 o'clock, and you're there after work before you go home or whatever, and the guy sits down, hey, how you doing? What do you do? I just, to me, it's a bar chat. It's just like two guys getting to know each other. It's that easy. or at least that's the tone I take. Didn't always that easy. Sometimes the guy won't talk, but it's just that I try to make it that casual. So at that point, yeah, we sell the service and it's only $99 a month. A lot of people do it. Whatever. But I don't want to go into it. I don't want to divert the conversation toward my service until I find out whether I can even do it for the guy.
100%. Yep. The more casual, the more it sounds like you're talking to a friend, the better. I agree.
Hopefully, you're making a friend too, right?
Yes. Yep. Yeah, I guess again, like we say, because me and Sam are door-to-door bros. We're like, we're just acquiring chillers.
I love it.
Yeah. Yeah, all our clients are just really, really cool guys and girls. But Abdu, have you been calling? How are things? If you're there. All right, he might not be around. Inaki, if I say that right? Inaki.
Hey, what's up, guys? Go ahead, go ahead. I'll go after.
Who's going first?
It's all right. I'm at the gym right now, so I'm just listening in, but I'm hoping to get back and started because I've just been getting clients from referrals right now. But yeah, I'm gonna start picking back up on that.
Heck yeah, man. Glad you're here. I just wanted to say hi.
Yeah, thank you.
Do.
Yeah, hey, I haven't been reaching my my daily goal, but I've been calling every day. So one day I was my fiance, she had surgery. So that day I was like, I need to make a call. I need to make at least one call. And then
Yes.
when we got home and then, she got settled and all that. So I took the phone and I make a call. The only call that I made, I booked a demo. I was like,
Yeah,
wow.
let's go.
So you just need to call. That's why, I totally agree with you when you say you just need to, grab the phone and call. That's all. It's not that scary, man. There's nothing in it. You just gotta grab the phone and call. So that's what I did, and I was just like, wow, look at this. But except from that, I've been trying to. I'm thinking about a couple different ways to increase my show up rate as well. So one thing that I did is in my automation text messages, the one that goes 24 hours before. So I want them to confirm whether they're going to show up. So if they do, I'm sending them a $5 gift card from Starbucks. I just started it. I just bought four $5 ones for like, oh yeah, $20. So tomorrow we'll see if she's gonna show up. That's what I'm trying to see how the you know that's one way that I'm trying to increase the show up rate. So tomorrow I'll be able to see if she's gonna show up if it worked.
That's actually what the Alex Hormozy AI bot like recommends, which I was like, huh, that's interesting.
I actually got that from from Clay. I was watching one of his video a couple days ago, and then he said, "Oh yeah, you can." That's what he was doing at one point when he first started, and then yeah.
You should also try talking about the price on the cold call and see how that affects show up rate. That's the one thing that we want to like test because I feel like that should, I don't know. I'm curious to see how that affects it because if they know everything, I'm like, okay. But the gift card thing, I'm curious to see how that goes too. So yeah, let
Yeah.
me know how it goes. Um, but yeah, hey
Yeah.
dude, I love that you, yeah, is even if it's just one call, that's yeah, it's just consistency. That's literally what 80% of success is. That's all it is.
Yeah, and then I wanted to ask about um oh man, I lost my train of thought. Oh gosh. Anyway, yeah, when I remember,
All
I'm
right.
gonna ask you.
Yeah.
But yeah.
DM me because we're about wrapped up.
Wrap up.
Yeah, yeah. But
All right, that's cool.
good stuff on
Oh yeah.
yeah, yeah.
So I wanted to see how what you guys do to kind of like reach to 50 50 call or 100 calls a day, like, at 80s and plus, because it seems to me like, so for me, I noticed that the windows that people really pick up the phone is between 10 and 12, right? So a lot of business owners don't pick up the phone. Well, they're busy. My niche is beauty industry, so hair salon and stuff. So between 10, I noticed that between 10 and 12, they pick up a lot. And between that time, I'm trying to ramp it up to make as many calls as I can. For some people that make, like 80s or 100 plus calls per day, do you use like a dialer, or you guys dial by hand, or do you guys use a specific software that kind of like help you also manage your calls basically?
Yeah, so close is I use close. So I'll show you just really quick here. But the way I don't even use a power dialer, and that would like exponentially make things faster. But essentially I'll come inside of here and then just go down the line. I filter on the right hand side for the number of reviews, which kind of just gives me an inkling of like where they're at. And then yeah, I just come here and I press call. I think today between Sam and I, we got some people selling for us now. So I did 136, and that was between like I don't know. It took me like if I'm not just sitting here just calling, like I'll take breaks in between, but it's a really fast way to make it happen. So you can come inside of here and just call down the list. They do have an auto dialer feature as well. I just haven't really used it yet, but it will
Okay.
also it will pull over their Google business profile here. So if you want, you can look, easily pull up their reviews. They haven't had a review in 3 years. They need our help. Actually, we put it as dead business. If they haven't had a review in like over 2 years, I'd just assume the business is dead.
Right.
Yeah, that's closed, and it makes it super efficient for calling.
Yeah. Okay.
Frankie, I have one question really quick.
Yeah.
With to all of you, just wanted to know what are you guys using for phone for the A2P10 for phone approvals? Um, is it I don't even remember the companies because I'm out of the game for 2 months now. I just wanted to ask that question. Yeah.
Yeah. TextGrid started working for us again. They were like down really hard for a while. So TextGrid's working again for us. We did sign up for Signal House, and then Sam's a better person to ask for this, but we didn't use them. And then we still use the master sending account approach for a handful of our clients. So are you talking about for sending out like yeah, like for client?
Messages. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, TextGrid and then Twilio.
I actually use a Signal House, and then
Yeah, how is it?
man, it is so easy to get your phone approved. Within a day, they get approved. So I think you got to pay. I mean, it's quite. I guess it's quite expensive. You got to pay about $25 total, or 20 something like that, to get that approved. Because there is a brand and a campaign that needs to they need to check on their end, and with the carrier and stuff like that. I'm not too sure, but within 24 hours, usually, it gets approved and I can start texting. So
Frankie, you said do you have like a master account or something like that?
Yeah, so there's a video if you go inside of Clay's community, the master sending account. The way
Okay.
that works is basically we're using a couple numbers to for several different clients. So basically you're filtering like your clients' messages into one sub account that send out the messages. so you don't have to do the A2P verification every time. It works. We actually set that up during a time where like everything was down, like tax grid wasn't working. But yeah, it's a little bit more complicated, but it's been really steady and helpful for us. So I would look into that.
Okay. Okay. So basically it's like a bunch of phones working on a sub account, and all the customers, like for example, 5 customers can share one line. That's basically it.
Yeah, so you're web hooking the text messages to the one sub account that then sends out the messages. So yeah,
Okay.
I'm not the best to explain it, but that's roughly how it works, and I would watch that video if that's the route you want to go, or text grid or Signal House.
Okay.
How many
Cool.
clients are you putting on a master sending account?
We probably have like at least 20 or 30.
So you got multiple master sending accounts?
No, we just have one.
Oh, really?
Mhm.
So do you think there's a max?
So it's just the max at which, like, so each sub account and go high level, like, gives you a daily limit, and it
Oh,
slowly.
right.
So that's the max. Yeah.
That's it.
I would
Okay.
also recommend something that I recently did is I got on my master sending account. I subscribed to a pro there's this thing you I'm so sorry, I forget what it's called. You activate like it's $10 a month per sub account, but you basically can get 10,000 or something like that pro actions or whatever. And the what are they called? The web hooks. Every time a web hook is fired is like a premium event or whatever. That's what it's called, premium event or something like that. And so it'll cost you like it was costing me like $50 a month without that pro turned on the sub account. Um, and once I turn that on, it covers it and it's only $10.
Cool. Good way to save some money. We love that. Well, sweet guys, I appreciate you greatly for showing up. And yeah, if there's any additional things, let me know. I appreciate you guys greatly and look forward to next week. So I hope you have a good one.
Thank you, Frankie.
Thank you for putting this together. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you guys. Have a
All
great
right,
week.
guys. Peace.
Peace. Let's get some deals. Let's do it.